I don't know about y'all, but I hate long albums. Please stop with the long albums. Now that I got that for my title, let me actually say my more grounded opinion, which is that I hate bloated albums, which in reality just translates to long albums. 9 times out of 10, if an album is over an hour long, it's going to be some hot ass. Reason it's going to be some hot ass is because it's going to be a whole lot of filler content. Whole lot of filler tracks. Gotta get your streams up, buddy. There is no fucking reason I need to sit through an hour and a half of a fucking Drake album. If I'm being honest, I haven't even listened to For All the Dogs, which is Drake's newest album. Reason being is because ever since More Life, every Drake album has been the same. It's been movie length with 90% of the tracks just being mid. Just meh. Not even being trash. Just eh. And when 20 of your 25 fucking songs on your goddamn album are meh, that just adds up to a trash album. It is what it is. Me looking at the track list and the length of an album for All the Dogs put me off to the album. Because sitting through such a long album of just meh, when you know they could do better, is so much worse than just sitting through a god-awful album. It is. Because you have hopes and expectations and you know that they could do better. And they just give no effort, bruh. With Drake, I had hope leading up to every album that this shit would be fire. But that stopped at the CLB. Dark Lane demo tapes was low-key fire, though. I'm not gonna cap. But CLB, that was the last straw for me. I don't even have interest to listening to an album of Drake because I already know what to expect. But at least with Drake, every album he drops, you'll have at least 5 songs that are fire that you could add to your rotation. But this album I'm about to talk about, which actually inspired this video, is probably the worst culprit of this long ass bloated ass album for no reason that I have listened to. I'm gonna piss off the entire Hispanic and Latino community with this one. And I might get kicked out of the community, but I don't give a fuck. It's my opinion. I'm talking about the new Bad Bunny album. This new Bad Bunny album is the literal definition of meh. Just meh. Just mid after mid. His new album that dropped recently is 22 goddamn songs and a grueling 1 hour and 21 minutes long. So there's 5-minute songs on this album that do nothing. Nothing. They're just boring. 5 minutes of just me not even paying attention to it. It just literally being background noise and not even being good background noise. I'm waiting for it to be over, waiting for the next track. Take away the 2 singles that were released before the album drop. I only like 2 songs off the album. 2 songs that I put on my rotation. And don't get me wrong, these 2 songs were fire as fuck. So 4 total songs out of 22, 2 of them being singles that I enjoyed. It's a trap album, but it's just so boring and uninspired. It just feels so many years behind. It just feels like all the copycats of the pioneers of trap that came out of the US. I had high hopes for this album. Because Bad Bunny has not missed. And he's made long albums. Fuck was that? He's made long albums. But you'll get at least half of the songs that are just fucking chef's kiss. So I had high hopes. Which made it worse. Because why the fuck did Bad Bunny feel the need to make a trap album that was over an hour long? Not just a trap album, the most generic ass, basic ass trap music. The most basic shit that you could think of. The most basic shit. And he made this an hour long. Almost an hour and a half long. Why? Just why? I like the fourth song on this album, which was, the first song on the album of me thinking, okay, this is where the album picks up. Just a slow start, It only goes up from here, right? Then I had to sit through 12 Nyquil Lace songs. Back to back to back to fucking back. Just for one of the singles to give me a break of the absolutely atrociously boring music that I was listening to. Then another mid song in between the second and the last song on the album that I enjoyed that wasn't a single. Then after more just meh, the last track came that was a single, and I like the song. Bad Bunny is no stranger to long albums, like I said before, but you'll get half the tracks that are just fucking bangers, that are just fire. So like his past albums haven't felt bloated because there's a lot of filler in them, but it's a good payoff because you're getting amazing tracks like in between the filler. Like it's not just filler, or at least that's what this new album that I'm talking about felt like, just filler after filler after filler. I feel like all of these songs would have been the weakest songs on his other albums, in my opinion, other than the songs that I liked. Those would have been bangers on any album. And like I said, like on his literally every album that he dropped before this recent one, the songs that are good are not just like good or just enjoyable. Like they're genuinely like amazing tracks. So you're getting great music, and then you get your filler, but then he just fucking punches you in the fucking chin with some fire ass music in between of the filler. But this album just reminded me so much of sitting through Scorpion, just asking myself why did this album need this many tracks? Why did I sit through this? Why can't I go back in time and get that goddamn hour and a fucking half of my life back? Why didn't I turn this shit off? Why didn't I blow my goddamn brain? If you enjoyed any albums that I've mentioned like before in this video, good for you. I applaud you. I'm jealous of you. I wish I was you. I wish I enjoyed these albums as much as you do. I see a lot of people praising this Bad Bunny album. Maybe I just haven't checked in the right places, but off the surface level of the people's thoughts on the album, only good things I've heard. I haven't heard a single bad thing about the album. I'm sure as soon as Fantano does his fucking review, he's about to get that shit a 1 out of 10 because he's just that goddamn strict. So I already know if anyone even watches this video, first off, but if anybody that does watch this video at all happens to like the album, I know I'm about to get shit on, but I stand on it. I can tell the people being like, I can tell that the people being happy that Bad Bunny made a whole like trap album don't really listen to trap or rap music that much, at least in the English language. Because why would I listen to this when I could listen to Playboi Carti, Young Thug, Future, Travis? Pretty sure I'm missing some other names, but off the top of my head, I think of those guys. And I know Future's also he's a corporate. And I know Future's also a culprit of the whole long ass bloated album thing. But he's like a pioneer trap, so I had to throw his name in there, and come on, he's iconic. And there are some older tracks of Bad Bunny where he makes trap music that I actually like enjoyed. So it's not the fact that he made trap music that makes me not like this album. I've just heard better trap music from him. So the fact that like the music is just sleepy ass music and the album is so long, so it's fucking like, I don't know, whatever, like an hour and 10 minutes of just like, bro, really? If he cut off like 6 songs on the album, I think it would have turned out a lot better in my opinion. Cause like he could have put more effort in each individual track than having to spread himself thin on 22 goddamn tracks, bruh. Which is like the main reason I hate long and bloated albums. If you just shave off some of the tracks, the good songs can become great. The great songs can become fucking masterpieces. The okay songs, the meh songs could become good. The bad songs can even become good, or at least like okay, meh. So like, I think more effort can go into each song if the effort is spread out through like 10 to 15 tracks rather than 20 plus tracks. There's no reason an album needs to be the length of some movies. 99.9% of the albums do not need this goddamn much runtime. Off the top of my head, the only person that falls in that 0.1% that could have that much runtime in an album, let's say it together, Gunna. No, I'm kidding. It's Kung Fu Kenny. Yes, Kendrick Lamar falls in that 1%. Maybe there's someone else, but off the top of my head, he's who I think of, and I know it's literally like the safest fucking answer you could think of. So I think every album other than Damn is like long as hell, but it's not. None of the albums are bloated. None of them are littered with filler. Yes, To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers should be over an hour long. But ain't no Bad Bunny album or Drake albums on the same universe of a Kendrick Lamar album. Call me a Kendrick Glazer. I don't give a fuck. If I'm honest, Mr. Morale really isn't in my rotation just because of the type of album that it is. I'm not gonna be fucking bumping Auntie Diaries in the whip when I'm with my boys. It's still an amazing album, it just lacks replayability. I know having longer albums helps with streams and, you know, whatever you gotta meet, you know, like the label quota, do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? I understand it. But the 2 examples that I use are 2 of the fucking biggest artists in the world. They don't need to meet a label quota. The labels, if anything, they need them more than the artists, than Bad Bunny and Drake. Need the label. If anything, I think Drake owns his own label. Obviously, he's probably under like whatever the Universal, fucking Sony or whatever it's called. Bad Bunny, I don't know what his label situation is like. Bad Bunny and Drake don't need a goddamn label. If anything, it probably hurts them more than it helps them. Another example of an album I actually like is Donda by Kanye. Good album. But 27 songs, almost 2 hours, and a deluxe, which is actually over 2 hours. Why? I actually enjoy the album, but if he cut the album by like 10 songs, better yet, best case scenario would be he cut that shit in half though. Track list, cut that motherfucker in half. Cut that bitch in half. Imagine how much better the album could be. Just imagine the effort Kanye could have put into this album. You know, spreading it across 15 songs rather than 27 songs plus a goddamn deluxe, so total 32 songs. Nothing is gonna change. I just had to get this off my chest. You know, had to vent real quick on some shit. Bad Bunny album was my breaking point. The title of the album don't even match the vibe of the music. But don't get your panties in a bunch. I don't enjoy the same music as you. It is what it is. That's what makes it different. I still listen to music better than you, though. Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy. If you happen to enjoy any of the albums that I shat on, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you enjoy the music that I don't. I wish I enjoyed it as well. I wish I was you. But yeah, let's bring back shorter albums. Please.
When I put a piece out, niggas like peace. Now even though I went to college and dropped out of school quick, I always had a PhD, a pretty huge dick.
Yeah, I know I'm a do-rag beginner, so I know I look so leave me alone. Fuck you, bad boy.